There is breaking news tonight in Texas. The state's highest criminal court halted the execution of inmate Rodney Reed. He was scheduled to die in 5 days for a 1996 rape and murder. New evidence has raised questions about the case.
Seven days left to stop the execution of a Bastrop County man.
I feel that the truth is out there.
Courts have dismissed his appeals, but his supporters say everyone's ignoring the facts.
Innocent. For life now. Even after we exonerate and bring my brother home, we will always be activists. We will all be standing on the side of the people, on the side of justice, on the side of right and truth.
Rodney Reed is scheduled to be executed by the state of Texas next Wednesday, but a growing chorus of people are calling on Governor Greg Abbott to step in and save the life of a man who many believe may be innocent.
I think at least the governor has to pause and look at the 2 million people who have signed a petition. There's 2 million voices saying, listen to us, something's off here, something needs to be done.
Come on, man, that's for there. Ooh.
Got into this with the
Definitely
intention of just bringing Rodney Reed home, free of discharge, exonerating his name. But as the years went by, I was traveling and speaking out. We got to meet other families, other people that's going through the same thing that we are. And it has affected us so much so that we started an organization called Reed Justice Initiative. And that's not just to get Rodney home, but that's about abolishing the death penalty, about holding people accountable, prosecutors accountable for wrongful convictions. Kim Kardashian herself has called me at my home and her sympathy and compassion and help to the family.
Seeing everyone rally around like cases like Rodney Reed's case that I'm so passionate about, and getting people from both sides of the aisle to really come together.
All those people are great. I love it. But it's going to take us as individuals, just regular, everyday people, to really make change, because we got to vote. We voted these people in. We vote these people out. It's going to take us to make the difference.
Free Rodney Reed! Free Rodney Reed! Free Rodney Reed! Free Rodney Reed!
The fight is not over till Rodney comes home, till he has been exonerated of his crimes. As I said, we don't want to free Rodney Reed. We want Rodney Reed to have a new trial so he can free himself, so he can prove his innocence. And that's what we're asking for right now.
They never gave him a chance out of the gate. They never tested the murder weapon. They never called any of his witnesses. They didn't even give him a jury of his peers. I am my brother's keeper. And I will be there for my brother now and always. And I will always do with everything in my power that I can do to see that justice is had for my brother.
From the time I can remember, helping me to tie my shoes, write my ABCs, you know, keeping the bullies away from me when I was a little kid. You know, he's always been there. And just the least I can do is just to be here now.
Why that shit ain't go to Brown?
The suspect was later identified as one of the victims who was found in the quad. He is identified as a 16-year-old male whose birthday is today. The weapon that he used was recovered at the scene. It's a .45 caliber semi-automatic pistol, which had no more rounds in it. Detectives have reviewed the video at the scene, which clearly show the subject in the quad withdraw a handgun from his backpack, shoot and wound 5 people, and then shoot himself in the head. There are no other
injured on the job, looking for a work injury lawyer. There's TV, there's billboards, there's a gazillion ways to find a lawyer. I'm telling you that it should start with finding a lawyer you feel comfortable sitting down and talking to. Then, actually go sit down and talk to him. You shouldn't choose your lawyer after a 5-minute conversation. You should choose your lawyer after a 1-hour consultation. These are important decisions that are going to be made in your work injury case, and you need a lawyer that you can trust. At Fromer D'Amico, you'll get personal attention. Either my partner, Joe D'Amico, or myself, I'm John Fromer, will handle your case personally. I have 35 years of experience. I teach trial advocacy at the Penn State Dickinson School of Law. I hold the Pennsylvania Bar Institute's medical certificate for lawyers. I know the medicine, I know the law, I know the judges, and I'll learn your facts. Together, we'll get you the very best result in your workers' compensation case. Click on the link below to schedule an appointment with me. Let's sit down and talk. Let's get moving.
That nigga ran right into the defenders. Like, what the fuck? Is that me? Is that the pass? Come on, man. Eternal was heavy. I ain't liking that. Oh. Ah. I should have seen that shit. I don't fucking know. Good read, missing.
I just think that Rodney Reed is in jail for a crime he couldn't have committed based on the forensic evidence alone. My understanding is one of the forensic evidence that was strong was that his DNA was found in semen in her body. He said they had sexual intercourse 2 or 3 days early, consensual sexual intercourse. The experts for the prosecution in the trial completely erroneously said that the semen were there only for a few hours, otherwise they would disappear, and that's false. It was false then, it's false now. Sperm in the body, a live sperm, they live alive for at least 4 or 5 days, so that the finding of his DNA in no way connects him to the death a few hours earlier, and I think that was a major concern at the time, especially because there was the issue of she's white, he's black. It wasn't credible that he would have consensual sex with her at that time when this happened. One thing that I think is kind of worth talking about is he's found sort of on her back like
Right, take me up, follow the game.
there's lividity kind of on the top of her face here, on her arm here like this. And that's the signs that a body has moved. In order to get the lividity in the places that Bryce mentioned, she had to be laying face down for at least 4 or 5 hours. She was strangled. She died of a ligature strangulation with a belt. Part of that belt was found next to the truck. The other part was found at the scene where the body was found. Clear evidence that she was in the truck, was dead, as does the decomposition fluids show that, and then taken and placed in the bushes where she was found some hours later. We've talked to Detective Sergeant Kevin Gannon, experienced homicide sex crime investigation. Everything about these scenes are staged. That a person who would have committed this murder in an attempt to evade detection would not have left one half of the murder weapon next to the truck and one half pointing at the body. They would not have left her name tag tucked between her legs. So this was a staged crime scene, and we need to do the kind of DNA testing which will confirm a mountain of evidence that continues to point to the police's initial suspect, which was a man named Jimmy Fennell. In fact, Jimmy Fennell was the prime suspect in this case. There was serious missteps in the initial investigation, but for months after the murder, Jimmy Fennell was interrogated harshly. He was looked at in any number of ways. And in fact, after he failed a second polygraph about whether he had killed Stacy, he took the fifth and refused to cooperate in the investigation. It really was not until Rodney Reed was charged with the murder and identified with this DNA that the state's theory of a rape murder even arose. How could they have continued to suspect Fennell after he had been excluded from the scene? So this idea of it being a rape murder only took place after Rodney was identified by the sperm. What's interesting, as Dr. Bodden has talked about, that the time of death had to be before midnight. It had to be 4 to 6 hours before the truck was found. And so that is a period of time that Jimmy Fennell testified at trial. He and Stacy were alone in their apartment. All of this evidence exonerates Mr. Reed and implicates Jimmy Fennell. And only in the last couple months, we've found alarming new evidence, again pointing to Jimmy Fennell. That includes 3 different police officers who have made statements that both established Stacy was cheating with a black man. Those are statements from Jimmy Fennell to a friend of his, a Bastrop County police officer. He said that Jimmy told him that Stacy was sleeping with a black man. He didn't use those nice of words. We were contacted by an attorney who said, I've got a client in the jail, and we went and investigated. It turns out that there was a leader of the Aryan Brotherhood in prison who served time with Jimmy Fennell. And in the course of their interactions, Jimmy Fennell confessed to the murder, and he said, again, that he did it because Stacy Stites was sleeping with a black man. And further, there's a lot of evidence in the truck. She was on the driver's side with decomposing fluids there. And the truck was not fully examined. And the truck, as I understand, was given back to fiance, who was with her in the hours before 3 a.m. in the morning when she was dead. And the forensic evidence was never properly examined. All of these statements, all of these suspicious behaviors from Jimmy Fennell, all of it implicates Fennell and exonerates Mr. Reed. So if you go to innocenceproject.org, we have a link that you can find information about how to contact your representatives, especially if you're in Texas. Look at innocenceproject.org and you can learn how to contact your representatives and the governor and ask them to take a close look at this case. I think that when you look at the facts of this case, not the rhetoric, not the sort of unproven accusations, what actually happened, there's no getting around the fact that if we go forward with this execution, we'll be executing somebody who didn't commit the crime. I just think that Rodney Reed is in jail for a crime he couldn't have committed based on the forensic evidence alone.
Welcome back. This is Ernie Johnson, along with Kenny the Jetsman and Shaquille O'Neal. Time now to catch up with our special post-game guest.
Hey, this is Kenny, man. First, I want to say congrats. Triple-double. Incredible night. I'm curious. Were you aiming for that? It was something you were aware of?
Jack, come on now, man. If I'm aiming for anything, it's for that quadruple double, man. How's that saying go? Aim for the moon. And even if you miss, you might land amongst the stars. Well, I see a lot of this going on now, man. I don't know. And no, I'm not just about that quadruple. I'm just saying that our goals are a lot bigger than one's personal phenomenal nights.
Man, keep that quadruple in your thoughts, man. It might happen.
And that's going to do it for tonight. For Kenny, for Shaq, for Kevin Harlan, wherever he is, for Ernie Johnson, say good night. We'll see you again soon.
Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. What's up, bro? You played this.